game, but they've got some capable goal scorers, and Ryan Smith leads the way.
Ryan Smith is the engine to this offense, and he can do it in many ways. He can do it off the dodge, creating for himself, but he's dangerous without the ball on his stick. He's a great cutter, Canadian player, good hands, great finisher, and he's the guy that they need to neutralize in order to be successful today.
And for the Orange, Stephen Rafis leads the attack like he has all season.
Number 29, I call him Mr. Dime. He's going to find his teammates, but he's able to get involved himself. My favorite thing he does is facilitate. He puts his teammates in a great position to be successful, and it gets the offense going.
Rafis, one of many fifth-year seniors who came back to Syracuse, used that extra year of eligibility to try and win a national championship. And despite a rocky regular season, to say the least, on and off the field, that goal is still in front of the Orange, but it must start with a win today. Robert Morris in the road navy, Syracuse in the home white, Jacob Fopp at the faceoff X. And he wins the opening possession for the Orange. Here's Brett Kennedy in transition, winds up, lets it rip, a bouncer over the cage. A quick start for Syracuse as Rafis takes the restart. Miles in goal for Robert Morris. Liam Rosenthal, the sophomore, going to face a flurry of shots today. Syracuse, when they get possession, they are a very capable offense. Their problem has been maintaining that possession in consistency throughout the season. Right on net there. Jamie Trimboli, your future teammate in a couple of months, opens the scoring with some trickery. He had no angle here, and yet gets it by Rosenthal.
This is a sneaky shot going down the alley. I'm sure the defense thinks that he's just going to move this ball to X, get the offense going. Jamie Trimboli has other plans. He sneakily puts this one to the far pipe. I'm not sure Rosenthal knew what was coming. Sneaky play from a senior playmaker. Love to see that happen. Selfishly, can't wait to see him do it at the next level.
Drafted into PLL by the Redwoods. Miles, a fellow midfielder there for the Redwoods, so they'll be hooking up in a couple of months. What a statement that is in the opening 30 seconds. A fifth-year senior, one of the senior captains on this team, with all the noise in the last couple of weeks and earlier today. He sets the tone with an opening goal in the first minute. Robert Moore's bringing the aggressiveness on the ride, a double team. They took the ball away, but the Colonials whistled for a foul. It'll be Orange ball with a fresh shot clock. Miles, when you turn on the Syracuse tape, what do you think has caused the Orange to struggle the most on the field in this 6-5 season?
I think you have to take a look at their defense. They have the size, they have the strength, but I don't think they're putting it together by communicating and being on the same page on every defensive possession. A lot of times, the star player on the other team has been able to do exactly what he's good at, and I think Syracuse should be aggressive, push out, and take away the gnomes and make it uncomfortable for these offenses.
Now the defense getting tested for the first time today after they gave up 22 goals against Notre Dame a week ago. Drake Porter pulled after 18 of those goals, including 10 in the second quarter alone. He's back in cage in between the pipes for the Orange today. John Desko told us yesterday, this is an opportunity for the defense and Porter to get right, get adjusted before the NCAA tournament a week from now. This is Jimmy Perkins attacking from X. Seventh-year senior. This is his second stint at Robert Morris. Certainly the veteran. Heard of fifth-year and sixth-year seniors, Miles. 7 is a new one for me. Right, a feat of even 51 in Navy there.
Even more impressive about Perkins, 7th year. This is his 3rd degree and 2nd master's.
That's too much school for me, but Perkins getting it done. There he is there on the shot, curling around the cage, misfires. 5 seconds left on the shot clock, so the Colonials have to hurry here. Second line midfield in for the Orange for the first time today. Griffin Cook, Lucas Quinn, and Liam Ferris. And with the absence of Scanlon, they move Owen Seabold to attack number 14 in white. His first career start, 2 goals and 2 assists against Virginia. Syracuse is a bubble team. That road win against UVA proves to be so important. With a win today, John Gasco's team certainly locks up that postseason berth. They might be okay even with a loss today, but you definitely don't want to take your chances and sweat out the next 48 hours. Cook releases high. Here's Rafus, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Great pass, Owen Hiltz. Skip pass. And a great save. Robert Morris holding strong on the last couple defensive possessions after the Orange opened the scoring. And they counter quickly. Jake Boudreau, the two-way midfielder, ties it at 1. And Miles, Robert Morris, dangerous in transition, and they showed why right there.
One, this is a great defensive play. Syracuse had many opportunities to get off a quality shot. Defense stands strong, and on the other end, this is what Coach Desko was worried about. A lot of their D middies can play on the other side of the ball. He talked about getting back on defense, and his old middies having to play offense is exactly what he was worried about. Coach had great things to say about Bordeaux and his ability to play on both ends of the field.
And what makes him so dangerous in transition is you have those two-way midfielders, and the senior Boudreau just scored. Will Johansson as well goes both ways. So you don't need to sub any personnel, Miles. They can just get right into the offense.
And the key piece is that when you're a defensive midi and you play both sides of the ball and you're this hybrid two-way midi, you're dodging against offensive players, guys who don't necessarily play defense in practice, guys who probably play defense 1 or 2 times every month. These guys aren't used to that. They're putting them in uncomfortable positions, and I know that was the focus for this Syracuse team. It's easier said than done, playing against these guys who are able to run up and down the field and play both ends.
I know you're more of an offensive-minded midfielder yourself. When you get caught on defense, is there a way to ask for help, or you just got to try and man up and play D? We'll get to that in a second as Owen Hiltz unleashes a flamethrower. The freshman makes it 2-1 Orange. Great shot there from Hiltz.
This is a great play by Dordovic. His head is up the entire time. He's scanning the field, knowing that the defense is putting a lot of pressure on the ball. He finds a sure-handed Owen Wiltz. That's a goal that he'd love to see over and over again.
A lot of talk about the fifth-year seniors on this Orange team. It's why the preseason expectations were sky high, but Hiltz has stepped up and been excellent for the Orange on that attack line. Jacob Falk, perfect on the day. 4 for 4 from the faceoff X, and you take a look at the numbers. When Syracuse can win faceoffs and get possession, they prove that they're one of the most talented teams in the country. It's the consistency from the faceoff X that has plagued the Orange so far this season. Mr. Bowling. Deep inside. Hiltz again, this time denied. Looking for back-to-back goals, the freshman. That's actually Ben Savick in goal for Robert Morris. Rosenthal has started the last 12 games, but Savick getting the start in between the pipes for the Orange, against the Orange today. Failed clear, gives an opportunity right back to SU, and they make the Colonials pay. Great feed inside. Owen Seabold cashes in, and it's 3-1 SU.
big plays made between the lines. You got to keep your head up. Jamie Triboli with a big hit. This is a great play from a guy who's stepping in and a lot of noise around him playing in this game. Coach said he's playing with confidence, and he looks like it on that play.
Robert Morris changing it up at the face-off X. It's the senior Michael Autry in. And for the first time today, they win possession from the X. Going to work immediately offensively and a goal. Don't blink. Romo can score in a hurry, and they do just that on their first face-off win of the day. Elliot Holden beats Drake Porter.
This is a beautiful play. We don't get to see it in that early going, but the fake flip freezes the defense for just a second. He sees the opportunity go underneath. This is a great shot. Perfect placement to that far post. Shot it with confidence. That's a great play.
Both teams like to attack in a hurry. Bob wins the face-off. And if you like goals, Miles, you've turned in to the right game today. Both of these teams can bring it on the offensive end. They both like to run in transition, too. Great takeaway there from James Leary. Right into the attack. Tic-tac, no toe, though. Kept alive by Jimmy Perkins, who resets the Robert Morris attack. Perkins at 5'8", going against Peter Dirth, who's 6'3", a physically imposing short stick defensive midfielder. Gives a shove off to Perkins midway through the shot clock. Perkins has a step on Dirth. Looked like he was in the middle of the crease. A flag flies. Let's get the call. Call a penalty against Dirth for an illegal push.
Balls on weight, number 9, 30 seconds for the push.
The rule of thumb here, if you can see the numbers, don't push. His back is clear to the defender. He gives him a little bit of pressure going towards the crease. That's a free offensive play for Jimmy Perkins there.
On the man up for the first time today. Inside to Ryan Smith. First shot of the game, and it's a good goal for the fifth-year senior, Ryan Smith. Leading goal scorer with now his 42nd of the season. Ties it at 3.
This is a great play. The seal. Read the seal, guy gets outside, throw it to your goal scorer, let him get on the board, get the confidence of the team going.
Then reinstated a week later. Well, today at 11 a.m. at Manley Fieldhouse, Scanlon arrested on the charge of criminal mischief. And Syracuse University just released a statement regarding the matter, saying that Scanlon, as a result of the arrest, has been again suspended from all athletic privileges immediately. So we spoke to John Desko yesterday before the arrest, Miles, and he called the whole situation a huge distraction for his team. And his message all week has been, do your job, focus, and control the controllables.
Yeah, it's not an easy task for these young men, being 18, 19, 20 years old, trying to step in and doing something that's really important, like winning a game, especially one that's going to boost their resume and put them in a great spot come the NCAA tournament. I'm sure as an athlete and competitor, as soon as the whistle blows and the lights come on, you can kind of drown out some of that noise, but that locker room is definitely an emotional place. They're going through an emotional time, and my thoughts and prayers are with the players on the team.
Come on!
And as we shift attention back to the lacrosse field, this is a big game for the Orange. Who would have thought that this Syracuse team, with the sky-high expectations they came into the year with, would feel like they need to win this game to make sure that their spot in the postseason is sealed. I'll tell you what, Owen Hiltz is doing his part. 2 goals for the freshman early, and that one fires the Orange back in front 4-3.
He's playing like this is a playoff game, and that's the mentality you have to go into. This is a great hitch. Understand he just hit this shot for a goal earlier in the game. They're going to fly out at him, quick hitch, improve his angle, get to a better spot on the field, shoot that near side. That's a beautiful shot.
We mentioned it earlier, but if you like offense, you are dialed into the right game. These two teams are on pace to combine for 50 goals midway through the first half. 4-3 Orange. Jacob Fopp has dominated the face-off X. For as little possession as Robert Morris has had, they are making good work of it. Brett Kennedy almost a stupid score there for the Orange. Great feed, and it leads to a goal. Owen Seabold camping out on the crease makes it 5-3 Syracuse.
Seabold understanding the game, feeling the pressure. He sees the opportunity when Breifus makes a great ground ball play, balls being spun around the field. He understands that he's the next guy in line, slides upfield, follows the slide. Great vision, great catch and finish.
How about the pass from Peter Dirth, too? Don't see a lot of short stick defensive midfielders around the country that can make such a great feed on the offensive end.
Well, that's why he's one of the more elite defensive midfielders in the game today. He's big, strong, fast, can defend, but he was a former offensive midfielder, so having the ball on his stick is nothing new to him.
Jacob Fopp has won all but one face-off today for the Orange. We've seen that he can get hot. 24-27 face-offs in the win against Virginia. And John Desko has lamented this season that he has felt like the struggles have come defensively, not because of a talent gap, but because just of what he's asked the defense to do week in and week out. The lack of possession forcing so much pressure on his defense.
When you look at it, you play more. When you play more defense, you have to play more personnel. So more guys, more time spent on defense, more guys got to throw in there and get reps in order to perform to the best of their ability.
Right now the offense clicking on all cylinders. This is Brendan Curry making it 6-3 SU. Syracuse not the only ACC opponent that Robert Morris has faced this season. They actually started their season against #1 Dukes. Played them real tough all game long, 16-12. Then went at Notre Dame, at Virginia. Actually outshot the Cavaliers in that game on March 20th. They feel like they can compete with anybody in the country, Miles. And Drew McBinn told us in our coach call yesterday, they feel like if they win this game against Syracuse, they deserve to be in that conversation for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament.
And not only do they deserve to be in that conversation, but if they do happen to make it with a win today, they're battle-tested throughout the regular season. They're a team that you don't want to face because they're going to be hungry and they have nothing to lose being a lower seed coming into the NCAA tournament, ready to battle whoever is in front of them.
Now, they've been there before, too. Normally, Robert Morris would be geared up for the NEC tournament this weekend. They won it in 2018 and 2019, went to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, nobody went to the NCAA tournament last year due to COVID. So they've been there the last 2 times they've had it. Defense needed a stop, and they get it. Will Johansson, the two-way midfielder, comes up with a crucial ground ball. Struggle in the clearing game, get it into attacking territory now, though. There's a flag down, so a freebie possession for the Colonials right here. And we'll get the whistle now.
Let's go. Technical offside, 30 seconds.
Robert Morris back to the man up where they are 1 for 1 today.
Syracuse penalty to number 14, Owen Siebel.
Another test for John Desco's defense. That allowed 22 goals last week against Notre Dame. Robert Morris has really only had 3 settled possessions where they haven't turned the ball over in the clearing game, and they've scored on all 3 of them. They've certainly proven they can break down this Orange defense. 1 for 1 on extra man opportunities today. There's Ryan Smith, passes off quickly. Leading goal scorer, number 1 in gray. No angle in a double team, doesn't matter with 3 seconds left on the extra man clock. Corson Keeley stings it past Drake Porter.
I love to see this. A guy who, this is pure determination. Coming off of injury, saw some action against Utah last week. He's back in action, leading this team. That's a great goal. Getting underneath, soaking the check, no fear.
Wow. Robert Morris has come to the Carrier Dome to play. They've been starved for possessions in this game, Miles, but when they get it, they're 4 for 4 in settled offense. Still trying to figure out the face-off. They put in their long stick, their pole, Johnny chasing into the X. That's still not working for them. It's been impressive with how little possession they've had, how little success they've had from the face-off X. They've kept it at just a 2-goal game. Dordovic has a step, denied by Savic. Hiltz trying to keep the ball alive. Scooped up by Johansson, and now the Colonials look to clear.
Johansson's been all over the field. Coach talked about his athleticism and the fact that they need him on the field in any capacity possible. He's shown that multiple times by picking up gritty ground balls down close to the GLE and making plays for his team.
Lost the handle there. The vacuum cleaner comes up with it. Brett Kennedy. The Orange score in transition, and it's another for Owen Siebold. Kennedy got it started, and Syracuse capitalizes in transition.
Pressing out, being aggressive near that midfield line. It's a very dangerous place to be when you're a ball carrier. Kennedy picks it up, gives it to no other than Siebold, a guy who's been proving play after play that he belongs here.
A hat trick today for Owen Siebold. He had a terrific game against Virginia. 2 goals, 2 assists in his first career start. He has fit in brilliantly on this Orange attack alongside Owen Hiltz and Stephen Rafus. Much needed face-off win there for Robert Morris. They go back to the senior Fogo Michael Autry to dig that one out. But look at that face-off, 10-2, and yet if you're a Colonial fan, you're only down 3 despite getting virtually 0 from the face-off X.
I think coach is going to have to go to Autry more. He talked about the differences in their styles on the face-off. He's a scrappy player, and he gets the wings more involved. I think that's what Robert Morris has to do. Make this a scrum, make it a scrap, and obviously out-duel your opponent on the same side.
Hey, you been held, Cole? No.
20 seconds left on the shot clock. Feed inside. Ryan Smith, a magician for Robert Morris. Snuck it past Drake Porter. Great goal for Smith, his second of the day.
If you know anything about lacrosse, the level of difficulty to make this play is unreal. He's going to the left side of the net with his stick in his right hand, catching it through traffic, patient, and putting the ball back towards the far post. This kid is special. His hands, his lacrosse IQ, and his overall game needs to be talked about more.
The struggles continue for Drake Porter. After arguably his worst performance in his career against Notre Dame, allowing 18 goals, he was pulled in that game. Goalkeeper, such a confident position in the sport of lacrosse, and he's leaking confidence in this game. Robert Morris, when they've gotten the opportunities on the offensive end, they have converted. Here's Hiltz. Goes low, denied by Savic. Five saves for Ben Savic, only one for Drake Porter. Orange has the lead, though. They've had more possessions, more shots. Rafis there to back it up. A little more than 90 seconds left in this first quarter. Rafis, this is where he's dangerous. Curling around the cage, finds the open man. This time it's Trimboli, and the two fifth-year seniors connect to make it 8-5 Orange.
This is a great play. Very quintessential from number 29. Head up, dodging hard, finding your open man. Now this shot, overhand, hard, off stick to that lower corner. It's very difficult for a goalie to get down there. He hides it so well, shoots it hard overhand off the turf.
Syracuse has won 11 of 13 faceoffs. Make it 12 of 14 as Fopp comes away with that one cleanly. And if not for the faceoff dominance in this first quarter, Syracuse could be in trouble. Robert Morris has scored on 5 of their 6 shots on goal. Been really efficient on the offensive end, Miles, but they've starved for possession as the Oranges dominated the faceoff X.
And I'm not surprised that Syracuse is dominating. They're coming off a game where they won 12 out of 32 faceoffs against Notre Dame at 37.5%. Coach Desco's been in many big games, played in many playoff games. He knows how big of a game this is and instills that into his team.
What a goal! Are you kidding me? It was Siebold who went behind the back, fouled Dordovic. You might see that on SportsCenter later.
Coach talked about his confidence as a Dodger. He wants the ball. He sees the open man on the crease and feels the pressure. He throws that lever pass, extending his hands away from the defender, giving him a little bit of time to flip that to Dordovic. Dordovic, classic, fake high, shoot low.
Now, this has been a statement first quarter for the Syracuse offense. Owen Siebold, 3 goals, had that assist. How has Desco's offense transformed with number 14 in white starting on attack, Miles? What have you seen differently from this Orange offense?
Well, you look at, I think they're the perfect complement of each other. Siebold is a slasher, finisher. Rafis is dominant with the ball in his stick. And Owen is just a great off-ball player. He obviously possesses the skills to create for himself as well. They all have very different talents, but they all mesh very well together.
10 seconds left in the opening quarter. Big hit from Peter Dirth, laying the lumber. Kennedy there to scoop it up. A whistle comes in, though.
Check sticks! Check sticks!
Still waiting for the call here with 2 seconds. It's going to be Robert Moore's ball.
Johnny, come down! Johnny, come!
Just checking the clock to make sure everything is squared away. Well, if you like offense, you picked the right game. These two teams on pace for 56 goals. Syracuse with 9 in the first quarter. Robert Morris has answered with 5. We're just getting started on the ACC Network. Miles Jones, Jay Alter with you. Second quarter about to begin in the Carrier Dome. An offensive explosion. 14 goals in that first quarter. A lot of possession for the Orange. Jacob Fopp has won all but 2 faceoffs. And this is the Jekyll and Hyde that we've seen from Fopp all season. Brilliant. 89% in that win against Virginia 2 weeks ago. Really struggled against Notre Dame. They lose that game 22-8. Miles, now he's back locked in at the faceoff X. Although loses that possession, called for a foul. And no surprise, when Fopp's winning faceoff, Syracuse gets more possession, leads to more goals. Just like we saw against Virginia, it led to a victory, whereas in Notre Dame, didn't get any of the ball. And just like that, you lose a faceoff. Robert Morris is going to make you pay. Corson Keeley, way too easy, wide open off the faceoff win for Robert Morris.
Robert Morris catches Syracuse in the sub game. You see a little bit of confusion with all the long sticks up at the top of the field. They sub, bring Bordeaux flying down the field ahead of the Syracuse defender. Catch it, an odd man situation, feeds it to Keeley, who's a sure finish down there.
And that's the microcosm of what we were just talking about. Robert Morris wins a face-off possession. Syracuse miscommunication defensively and give up a goal. This time Fopp wins it from the X. There's a flag down, I believe on a hit on Fopp, who stayed down. Helmet came flying off. Take another look here.
Nice job, boys. You can't beat him, you gotta knock him out, right? Nice job, boys. No response. Let them do that. Great 20. He's got 1 minute. Really good body check. He's locked in. He's locked in. 1 minute. 1 minute. Go back out there. Go back out there. Play that game too.
Fopp stays down here. He's been giving Robert Morris a ton of trouble from the face-off X. We're just talking about it.
1 minute.
Maybe a frustration foul. Hey, he's been beating us up all afternoon long. Good to see him walk off under his own power.
They got to do that.
Tedesco's team moves to the man up. 3-goal lead. Here's Trimboli, dangerous from outside. Tried to pass it off. How about that? Stuck with it after the pass was incomplete. They feed it back into Trimboli. He circles it around. Another flag comes in. 30 seconds left on the man up. Rafe winds up, saved by Savic, and now we'll get the whistle for another foul. Syracuse going to be 2 men up for 15 seconds here.
Hey, there's 15 in the first. 17's got to hold 30 seconds. Ray 17 hold 30. Yeah, Billy. Hey, 15 in the first.
30 seconds for holding.
Plenty of space, 2 men up. Dordovic whizzes that one by the cage.
First round Morris penalty is released.
Dordovic again, this time makes Robert Morris pay. Tucker Dordovic cashes in on a two-man up advantage.
You don't get a more fundamental shot from a midfielder than this. He steps hard towards the cage, understanding that he's going to have the time and space, and it's his shot to take. Buries it to that far low post, hard for the goalie to slide over there and get to that.
Now the offense has not been the problem for the Orange. Dialed in despite all the distractions. 10 goals already. We are early in the second quarter. Morello in on the faceoff for the first time after Fopp was knocked to the ground after the last faceoff. Same result for the Orange, who's dominating at the X 14-4 today. Curry with a burst of speed. Back to Dordovic, who just scored. Lost the handle. Triple team comes in. Battle for the ground ball. Dordovic staying with it. Keeping it alive for the Orange, and Hiltz claims it. Being a hot potato that finally is won by Robert Morris. They're dangerous in transition. They barely had the ball because when they do have it, they've scored so quickly. Where have you seen Syracuse struggle defensively, not only all season, but particularly today? Because Robert Morris, 7 shots on goal, 6 found the back of the net.
Well, outside of the transition, I think they have played very well 6-on-6, but they have to understand and who they're playing against. Robert Morris wants to run in transition. Robert Morris also wants to dodge hard and feed the ball to their best player. Take away the 2 knowns, you have a better defensive result.
7th-year senior Jimmy Perkins getting it done. Spent 4 years at Robert Morris from 2015 to 2018. Then graduated, transferred to Utah, was the team captain for their inaugural season in 2019. Also spent 2020 with the Utes, and now back for his 7th year. Using that extra COVID year to come back home. He's a Pittsburgh native. What a great story Jimmy Perkins is. You said, Miles, even more impressive than all the lacrosse accolades. He's going to end up with 3 degrees in 7 years, too. Morello still in with Fopp out after that hit. Here's Peter Dirth. Feeds the Seabold, who's been terrific today. 3 goals, 1 assist for 14 in white.
2-0, here it comes, kid. Here it comes, 2-0. Eagle here. Eagle.
Cook lost his footing. Recovers midway through the shot clock. Rufus lost the handle. Recovers nicely. Feed inside. Couldn't get the hands clean there. The freshman Liam Ferris, who's joined the second line midfield. Seabold, great take, no look pass, shoveled in. Owen Hiltz completes his hat trick off a terrific feed from Owen Seabold.
This is an unreal play from both the ball carrier on the swim dodge, right-handed pass to a cutting left-handed Owen Wilt. This is creative lacrosse at its finest. Catching the ball in traffic underhand, flips it right under the crossbar, avoiding the crease. Seabold has had a great game. Wilkes is coming in too.
Owen Hilt's third goal today. That one off just a picture-perfect feed from Owen Seabold. 3 goals, 2 assists today. And this attack, reborn late in the season with Rafis, Hiltz, and Seabold, has certainly looked the part. Morris has been so potent on the attacking end. 7 goals on 9 shots on goal. They've been starved for possession, dominated the face-off X, and yet they are hanging tough, not going down without a fight. This is their Super Bowl. This is their national championship. They won't play in a conference tournament this year, an independent team after leaving the NEC. This will likely be their final game of the season. They are putting it all on the line in the Carrier Dome this afternoon. Perkins again, attacking from behind the cage. Here's Ryan Smith. Great save to deny the leading goal scorer, Ryan Smith. 5 seconds. Shot clock didn't actually reset, didn't make it to Porter. It was deflected on its way to the cage. So that's a shot clock violation. Brett Kennedy picks it up quickly. He's got a ton of speed in transition. Here comes Kennedy launching into an Orange attack. Brendan Curry charges down the left alley, stings the corner. Brendan Curry brings the thunder and makes it 12-7 Syracuse.
If you want to cover 16 at the midfield, you got to play him outside the box. He has tremendous speed, and this is a beautiful shot on the run. He understands the foot race. He knows he's in first place. That's a gorgeous shot to the far post.
At the face-off X after he's missed the last 3 face-offs after getting banged up. Robert Morris comes up with possession. Flag comes in. Michael Autry, as you said it earlier, he's in there to muck it up, and he did just that. Freebie possession for the Colonials. Largest lead of the game for Syracuse at 5. Officials are going to let us know what the flag was for. As Robert Morris prepares to go a man up.
I'm going to wait 40 seconds. 41 with a 30-second push. 41 right, 30-second push.
Syracuse penalty to number 41.
Like I said earlier today, if you see the offensive player's numbers on the back of his jersey, got to be hands off.
Morris. 1 for 2 on the extra man today. Great feed inside. Porter makes the save. That'll help his confidence. Penalties released back to even strength. Here's Hiltz. Went to goal already with a hat trick today. He's looking for his 4th. Seconds left on the shot clock. Syracuse in trouble, and they lose possession.
I like the aggressive from Downs that he's displayed this game. Many small times, small plays have been made by him, just being all over Rafis. If it's a simple ground ball play where he's picking up a ground ball on the sideline, he's under duress. Downs is long, strong, and he's the number 1 defender, and he's playing like that today.
Knocked away. Syracuse causing the turnover. Now can they cash in on the other end? Great save to deny the defenseman, Grant Murphy, who let that one fly. Dordovic attacking the cage again. 2 big-time saves for Ben Savick, trying to keep Romo in it. Flag on the field as the Colonials charge in to their attack. Another extra man opportunity coming. Get the penalty with 4:28 remaining in this first half.
Wait, 77, 1 minute. We got to settle
I respect the ride, the hustle, and the playoff mentality. Got to be smart. I know he's a freshman, understanding time and place. You're up by 5. Can't give this Robert Morris team any confidence, especially how efficiently they're scoring on their possessions.
It started all offense in this game. Robert Morris really effective and efficient with very few possessions to start this game, but failed to score on the last man up. Another opportunity here. That one sails high. Their goalie, Ben Savick's actually keeping them in it. 9 saves in this first half. You get the feeling that they really need to find a way to capitalize on this extra man. And they do! Blowing it by Drake Porter. And Robert Morris is pulled back within 4, cashing. Robert Morris is Ryan Smith. He's a future pro, and he's shown why today, Miles.
Absolutely. You look at the goals he scored today, 3 of them to be exact. He's playing in the NLL. He got drafted to play in the PLL. And I think in each one of these scores, he's shown a different skill that is great for both. The outside shot that you'll see at the professional game in the PLL, and the silky smooth hands cutting to the crease, making plays that are unbelievable things you see in the NLL. He's a guy who's going to be a star at the highest level in both leagues.
The all-time leading scorer in Robert Moore's history. Did that last week against Utah. And when he gets the opportunity, he can show he's one of the best pure scorers in the game of lacrosse right now. You mentioned that he's got options to play in 2 professional leagues, Miles. For those unfamiliar, the NLL is the indoor league. He was the number 3 pick in the first round a year ago. And then the 30th pick most recently in the PLL. For those that don't know, biggest differences from the indoor game to the outdoor game, and why does his game maybe fit more the indoor one?
Well, the outdoor game is the one we're watching here. Obviously a lot more space. Transition from college to the pros, the game's a lot more physical. But the indoor game, I think he's going to have the most success there because of the things he brings to the table. He can shoot from the outside. He can shoot off the pick. He can create for himself. And like those 2 goals we saw in the first half, he has great hands. He can be creative. He can play in small places. Those are all attributes of an indoor player that will make someone successful.
Half the amount of players in the indoor game on the field at one time compared to the outdoor game, too. Got to be able to do it all. Ben Savick, his 10th save of this first half. Orange could be up by a whole lot more, but Savick's kept Romo in it. Only down 4, 2:30 left in the first half, and looking to claw another goal back here. Syracuse has struggled defensively against this crafty Colonials offense. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk more about Ryan Smith. He is one of 4 players in this game, 3 from Syracuse drafted in the PLL. We'll take you through those 4, and also a name you may not have heard of, Kenzie Harris from the Syracuse women's lacrosse team, tells her powerful story. So that's coming up in 2 minutes here at halftime on the ACC Network. Five seconds left on the shot clock for Robert Morris. And a timeout taken. John Desko uses his first timeout. Syracuse up 4. John Desko, speaking with us yesterday, says this is a great opportunity for his team to bounce back, tune up before the postseason. Said he's thrilled that he scheduled this game. He didn't know that they'd be coming off that 22-8 loss to Notre Dame, but rather than wait a couple of weeks before you get an opportunity to play again, you can bounce back immediately, get that taste out of your mouth, and reset for the NCAA tournament, where John Desko's had a lot of success, 5 NCAA championships, but none in the last 12 seasons. It's been a long trophy drought for the Orange. Championship in 2009. Last time they were even in championship weekend was 2013, and there's no ACC tournament this year, but the last time Syracuse won the ACC tournament was 2017. Miles, Syracuse fans, they just want to know the feeling of hanging a banner in the Carrier Dome again. It's been too long.
It's been a while, but I think it starts with this weekend. As a player in college, we always had a game in between the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament. We cherished that moment because, 1, it was another opportunity to play, and it was an opportunity for us to fine-tune our skills and do the things that we do best a little bit better, improve on the things that we need to improve on, heading into the time where it all counts.
Miles, you won 2 national championships as a player. You've been to the mountain top in the sport of college lacrosse. When a team is on a championship trajectory, what are the ingredients you need in May to end up winning the trophy when it's all said and done?
I think one of the underrated features of a championship team is depth. And then you have, obviously, your star players, your guys making plays in between, and then you have guys stepping up. It's a long year. The more you can step up throughout the year, the better you can be. And Ryan Smith, this is what he's doing. He's putting the team on his back. He understands that this might be his last game, and he will not go out without a great performance. He's dodging like it means something to him. He's playing with like his hair is on fire, and he's making all the right plays for his team to be still in this game.
Fourth goal of the day for Ryan Smith. That one pulls the Colonials within 3. Fopp has not come back the same after he was knocked out for a few faceoffs, although Brett Kennedy scoops that one away for the Orange. Great passing right off the faceoff, and Steven Rafis sneaks it past Ben Savick as the Orange answers immediately.
Fopp in a heated battle with Audrey. Understand this will be a physical battle from the first face-off to the last. Kennedy makes a great play, uses his speed to get in transition. This is just a great low-angle shot by Rafis. You have to shoot that with confidence. If you're a low attackman getting that opportunity with very little angle, you have to be surefire that that shot's going in.
Steven Rafis had been quiet before that goal, but got an opportunity. That's a sweet spot over on that far side of the field. Didn't even have the best angle at it, but did just enough to squeeze it past Savick, who's had 10 saves in this first half. Despite letting up 13 goals, Robert Morris has gotten great goalie play today. 1 minute remaining in this second quarter. The Orange looking to tack on one more before the break. Rafis, what a beautiful feed. Don't know if he intended the pass or not, but it doesn't matter as Owen Seabold notches his 4th goal of this first half. Great positioning from Seabold.
I've seen a lot of lacrosse, and I was fooled with this one. I thought this was going to be a low-angle shot. Seabold, right place, right time. He knows he has an elite attackman on his team who can find any person on the field at any spot. That is a great look, great pass, great deception. Seabold on the alley-oop dunk.
As close as you'll see in lacrosse, too. A slam dunk from Seabold. So, Miles, you think he meant pass the whole way there?
I'm going to go with he meant pass, because I've been in that position as a player where I take a wild shot and it ends up in one of my attackman's stick, and it looks like a great pass, but a horrible shot. I'm going to go with that was a great pass.
You take credit for it. All right. A whistle before the shot. Syracuse takes a timeout. It's great to see Dami Olademoye back on the field for John Desco's team. He's missed as we prepare for tournament time. Packer and Durham have you covered. All things ACC every morning right here on the ACC Network. Now, Miles, we could talk about plenty Orange attackmen, but Owen Hiltz, the freshman, has been influential in this first half.
With little big game experience, playoff experience, he's shown that it doesn't matter. Catching the ball, shooting it, catching the ball, stepping around his defender for a better angle. This play, in my opinion, has to go on SportsCenter or some type of highlight. The guy can do it all. He can do it from the outside. He can do it where he creates for himself. He can do it catching the ball inside and being strong with the finish.
Now, the attack has looked excellent today for the Orange. Hilt, Seabold, and Rafis combined with the first-line midfield that's all on the Tuorton watch list. For postseason hopes for Syracuse, they're not worried about the offensive side of the field. They've proven that in this first half, 14 goals. It's the defensive troubles, allowing 22 goals to Notre Dame last week, 9 goals against Robert Morris in this first half. Savick makes another great save. Full field in 2 seconds. Robert Morris strikes with 1 second left in the first half. Are you kidding me? What is it? Those are the defensive collapses you fear if you're an Orange fan. Take another look. Wow.
Chuck it and pray. You got a great attackman like Ryan Smith, a guy who's used to playing indoors, so catching bad passes is second nature to him. He picks that one up, throws it by the goalie. This game means something to him. Like I said on his last goal, he's not going out without a fight. And he's putting up the best fight I've seen from any senior, potentially in his last game, fighting for a playoff spot.
I think everybody besides Ryan Smith thought this half was over. He scores with 1 second left.
Network, ESPN, we have Robert Morris taking on Syracuse, 10-14 at the half. Syracuse up, ready for second half action. We've experienced some technical difficulties. I've lost my partner, Jay Alter, but I'll be calling the game from now on. Excited to be back. Loose ball push, ball awarded to Syracuse. Brendan Curry with the ball. Syracuse's first midfield line comes out. Curry, Trimboli, Dordovic. Great defensive play. Ball moving in transition. Bordeaux traveling up the field. What a save. The goal is waved off. Drake Porter, what a save. Coming off of a tough outing last game, making small saves in big moments, building confidence for his team, building confidence for himself. Ball scooped up by Kennedy in the corner. Moved up the field to Dordovic. He loses it by midfield. A lot of up and down action here early in the game. An open goal attempt missed by Ryan Smith. I bet you he wants that one back. Shot goes out of bounds. Ball back to Robert Morris. Crease violation, Robert Morris. Ball back to Syracuse. Back and forth action here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds without a score. Rafis with the ball, operating behind cage. The second midfield line in right now, looking to increase their production. Tough feed inside, knocked down. Ball scooped up by Leary. Robert Morris in transition here, where they're so dangerous. They elect to pull it out and set up their offense. Saved by Drake Porter. Resets the shot clock. This is a great matchup. Lucas Quinn, a second midfielder for Syracuse, locked on defense. Expect the slide to come quick. They get a great shot off, backed up by Ryan Smith. Great takeaway check. Ball on the ground, scrap for it. Some physical play from Syracuse. Long possession for Robert Morris as they're patient, trying to get the best shot possible with the skill set that they have playing the two-man game from the wings. "15 seconds on the shot clock. Great save by Drake Porter. Here come the Orange in transition. Shot out of bounds, backed up by Rathis. We're at 4.5 minutes now without a goal from either team. Syracuse brings out their first midfield line in hopes to change that. Great shot by Hilt. Interesting point to note, Robert Morris has elected to short stick Owen Hilt. Although he's an attackman, they feel that they better use a long stick to cover this daunting midfield line of Trimboli, Dordovic, and Curry, who've proven to be really talented. The only problem with Hilt is that he's also been able to create for himself and score a couple goals here in the first half, with Dordovic with the step down. Dordovic's so dangerous, but just talk about Hilt and his ability to create. He dodges to the mouth of the goal, to the middle where you have to draw an adjacent slide, feeds it to Dordovic, who he puts that one near side in the corner. It's very hard to save that when you're shooting the ball with your hands free, feet set, and letting it fly. Dordovic, his 23rd goal this season, 3rd goal today. Extended ground ball and fight for this face-off win. Fopp comes up with it. Long pass down the field. Rathis one-on-one with the goalie. Unbelievable stop by Savic, a guy who's been playing very well. Had he not had the performance he had in the first half, I'm not sure what the score of this game would be. Robert Morris has Brendan Curry trapped on defense. Look to them to exploit that matchup by attacking him or putting him in the slide package. They like to put him in the slide package. Great save by Drake Porter. unlike the first half scoring flurry for both teams, we've only had one goal in the past 8 minutes of play in the third quarter. Plenty of shots, plenty of up and down action, only one shot, only one goal. To that point, 14 goals scored in the first quarter combined between the two teams. At the 6.5 mark, we've only had one goal scored by Syracuse. Here's that matchup I talked about. Owen Hiltz on a short stick D-midi, able to create for himself. Able to exploit that matchup. It's a great goal by him. Owen Hiltz on the wing dodge. Gets underneath. Ends that scoring drought. Puts his team up.
In Syracuse, New York, Jay Alter's still having technical difficulties, so you're stuck with me for at least a little while. Sam Oppenheim with the former Duke star Miles Jones in the orange, maintaining their lead and building on it after an Owen Hiltz goal. And boy, is Owen Hiltz a special talent, Miles.
Coming out of high school, he's highly recruited, and he's shown that on the big stage. This is a playoff game for them. Owen Hiltz understands that. With little to no playoff experience, he's shown like he's playing like a senior.
6
He scores
points.
in many different ways, and he's done it himself, attacking the short stick. He's done it on the cut. He's done it dodging around short sticks. He's done it dodging around long sticks. He's obviously a versatile player, and I think he should earn the respect of Robert Morris, although he's not a predominant dodger.
Hiltz started every game after the season opener against Army, as Robert Morris gets the turnover, but the ball's taken away. A push against the orange. Ball back to the Colonials. Well, so far, no goals in this second half for Robert Morris. And really, Miles, possession has been an issue for them even when they were scoring in that first half. What have you seen so far in the opening moments of the third?
More of the same. They haven't been able to get the ball in their possession, and I don't think their offensive efficiency is as great as it was in the first half. A lot of times they're getting the ball and they're getting good looks, but sometimes when they get the ball, it's not necessarily the most cohesive showing of offense in lacrosse. I think they should get the ball back to Ryan Smith. He's been doing really special things with it when the ball's in his possession. Let him be the quarterback he is. He's a senior. This could be his last game. He's playing like it means something to him. I think the more time the ball is in his stick, the better off Rob Morris is going to be on offense.
In his stick now as he's watched by Grant Murphy. Shot up top, saved by Porter. Matched it high to high to make the save. And Drake Porter up to 8 saves in this game. Talked earlier about some of the Premier League lacrosse draftees, and Drake Porter was not one of those selected. Miles, were you kind of surprised by that at all? Porter's been a standout goalie for a few years for Syracuse.
I think it's one of two things. One, obviously, the competition is stiff when it comes to goalies playing at the highest level. Every goalie is so good, and we had a bunch of goalies come over from the Major League Lacrosse when the merger happened. So you get all those goalies you have to compete with. Then you have to compete with other goalies in the draft, and I think that he might have got overlooked. I think he's a great talent. I think he deserves to get a spot.
And he's got to compete with Ryan Smith. 6th goal of this game for Ryan.
If anything, Ryan Smith's going to remember his last game. Even if they do not become successful in winning this game, he put on a show. He's going to continue to do that until the very final whistle.
Slash on the field as Brett Barlow heads to the penalty box. Take another look. Right to the helmet.
Brett's going to call that 100 times out of 100. Usually when you draw a big windup in order to make a check, The refs already are reaching for the laundry, and just in case there's any contact that isn't legal, especially when you landed on the chin guard of the helmet, you're always going to get called for that. This is a great time for Robert Morris to step up and put another goal on the board after going scoreless for several minutes.
Already 3 of 5 on the man up in this game. An efficient offense that has relied a lot on Ryan Smith, who just scored his 6th goal of this game. In his last game, he became the program's all-time leader in goals. Unsettled offense here for the Colonials as the man up is winding down. Pass intercepted by Murphy as the penalty expires. And a good takeaway for the Orange and a good 1-minute kill. Alanamoye winds up and fires high and wide to the right. Oh, Tommy wanted all of that one.
First game back, trying to get himself in the stat sheet, feeling it.
Normally a short stick defensive mini for the Syracuse team from Grays Lake North in the Chicago area. As the Orange settle on offense with the first line in midfield, Jamie Trimboli, Tucker Nordovic, and Brendan Curry. Rafis behind, back up top to Hiltz. Beats a cutting Curry. Well, it was a cutting Trimboli, actually, but it missed his stick and went to Curry, who just missed the shot to the right of the cage. 25 to shoot for Syracuse. Rafis picks the corner. Top left, Stephen Rafis. Another tally and a 6-goal lead for Syracuse.
Rafis shows a lot of patience on this play, gets his defender up to the island. The island is the 5x5, so 5 yards away from the net, 5 yards above the goal line extended. It's a great area for attackmen to work. You get your space, you can feel the defender if he's playing behind you or above you. On that play, Downs is playing above Rafis. He was able to step away and get his body weight going down towards the goal line extended, putting a good shot on the cage.
The second goal of this game for Rafis. And now 6 players for Syracuse with 2 or more goals. And 17 goals so far, and we have not finished the third, and a big reason why has been the face-offs, as this one's tapped back and scooped up by Barlow for SU. We mentioned earlier how basically the face-offs have sometimes been the be-all, end-all for Syracuse, as the Orange have won 22 of 30 in this game, and the Orange control here on offense. Ferris, the freshman. Seabold in trouble in a double, gets it out to Ferris, and we're under a minute to go here in the third quarter. 17-11. Just 1 goal by Robert Morris here in the second half, and the ball has seemingly been on the right side of the field for the entire quarter. 10 to shoot for Syracuse. Hiltz notches another goal. He makes it look so easy. Owen Hiltz, 5 goals in this game, and Syracuse nearing 20.
I feel like I have deja vu. I've watched Owen Hiltz cutting to the right with his stick in his left hand, catching the ball, and somehow finding the back of the net. His game is elite. He's a freshman. He's filling up the stat sheet with 5 goals today. He understands what he does best. He puts himself in a great position, and his teammates are always looking for him, and they find him in opportune spots.
John Desko has talked about how Owen doesn't even need a cradle. He just catches and shoots. Can the same be said for you, Miles?
No, I'm a ball-carrying midfielder for sure. I definitely carried a bunch, but when you look at Owen Wilts' game, outside of the 2 goals that he created by himself, the ball was in his stick for a total of 8 seconds.
Under 30 seconds to go in this third quarter, and we're getting a call here shortly.
Number 9, technical push, 30 seconds.
So a push with possession results in a man-up opportunity.
I like the aggression. Dirk with a free hand on his back after the check.
Colonials will be man-up for the remainder of this third quarter. If they elect to hold it, they would not have an opening face-off for the start of the fourth. About a 3-second difference. Game clock and penalty clock. Down to 4 to shoot. Shot saved by Porter. And that's how the third quarter ends. Syracuse outscores Robert Morris 4-1 in the third quarter. And they hold the lead going into the final 15 minutes of play. If you like offense, this is the game for you. 29 combined goals, and the Orange up by 7 on the Colonials. Sam Oppenheim filling in for Jay Alter, at least for the time being, with Miles Jones. And Miles, Syracuse really controlled the tempo in that third quarter, played their style of game, and that's why this lead is expanded.
They've won the face-offs. They were aggressive on offense. Drake Porter had his best quarter in this game. Syracuse putting it all together on all ends, from the defensive end to the face-off to the attack and midfield dominating their matchups. This is the reason why they find themselves up in this fourth quarter.
As we start action here with the fourth quarter of play, Dominic Moye gets out of the check. Final game of the regular season for both schools. No ACC tournament this year, which makes things a bit different for Syracuse. But Miles, you mentioned earlier how, regardless, usually teams play another game after their conference tournament anyway. So in that way, how do you view this if you're John Desko in Syracuse?
This is a polished game. Obviously, you're playing a team in Robert Morris who, it's not a walkover game. This team is talented from top to bottom. When you look at their attack, Ryan Smith leads that, and he's obviously been a tough cover all day. But in terms of the overall game, it's a great opportunity for their guys to do what they do best and increase their ability to do that at a high level. And then on the drawing board before the game starts, hey, these are things that we don't do well. Let's step up and take care of business in these categories in order to put ourselves in a great position to be successful when it all matters.
Flag flies after a big stick check on Dordovic, and Hiltz's shot was stopped.
Great 39, 1 minute, slash on the head.
Well, that's about as pretty obvious as a slash as you're going to get. Stick to helmet. Those ones actually probably feel better if you're an offensive player, Miles, because you got the helmet right there.
I think all slashes are more or less the same. They hurt, and you're not happy after.
Man-up chance for Syracuse. They converted on their only one of the games so far. Big wind-up from Rafis, and he misses high. Owen Hilt scores again. 6 goals now for the freshman from Ontario.
Give it to the hot hand. This is a confident shot. He gets just a few yards above GLE. They don't put enough pressure on him as the low guy and the most dangerous man on the field. He sees an opening, hands back, let it fly.
Owen Hiltz now with 27 goals on the season, 6 of them coming in this game. Has had now 3 games with 4 or more goals in his freshman 2021 campaign as Fopp wins another face-off for Syracuse. Widely in favor of the Orange. Siebold has it taken away on a double team from Boudreau as Robert Morris reverses field and tries to clear. So now Robert Morris with another offensive chance. And a loose ball wide of the cage, scooped up by the Colonials. Perkins lost it, can't find it, scooped up by the Orange. And it's thrown away on the far sideline. So Robert Morris will keep it. A bit unsettled play here early on fourth quarter. Well, the Orange are feeding Hiltz. So if you're Robert Morris, do you go back to Ryan Smith, who's been far and away a force to be reckoned with in this game? But no, instead it's Jimmy Perkins. The 7th-year player notches the goal, his 2nd of the game. And that could be a big momentum swing for the Colonials.
This is a great heads-up play. A great one-on-one dodge. You feel the pressure from the slide. Jimmy Perkins has a little bit of room, and he makes it count. He has just enough space to reach around the goalie before the defense slides to him at GLE. Flick of the wrist, throw it around the goalie.
Their first goal since the 4-minute mark of the 3rd. A much-needed one for Coach McMinn and company. Another big face-off win for Syracuse. Orange bringing on a couple different players. Matt Magnan has subbed on for Syracuse as he receives it now on the far side. Quinn sidewinder, rebound, Hiltz is there again. Count him up for Owen Hiltz, and the Orange have 20.
Owen Hiltz, right place, right time, and it seems to have been the case the entire game. That's just a great crafty finish off a great pickup. Understanding that shots from the far out will create rebounds. He crashes the crease, gets himself an easy one.
A Canadian shot, his 7th goal today, a new career high. Of course, it had to be by a Canadian shot. 20-12, Syracuse. Such a special player, the number 2 recruit coming into this season. Number 1 recruit was Aaron O'Neal for Duke. Both are tearing up the ACC this year. Owen Siebold, 4 goals, 2 assists. Siebold and Hiltz have been unstoppable so far. Gets topside and bounces it home. 5 goals for Owen Siebold. And the Orange have hit 21.
Coach Desko talked about Siebold playing with confidence and wanting the ball in dodging situations. Time and time again, he has made his presence felt with the ball in his stick going to the rack. It's a great play, dodging hard, getting around the defender top side, and taking advantage of beating the defense without a slide coming to him.
Well, if you're Coach Desko, you certainly have to be happy with the function of the offense in this game with 21 goals, especially coming off a disappointing loss to Notre Dame. And Miles, people have been talking not only during this season, but this past year, even the year before that, about this Syracuse midfield. But now we're seeing the attack really take their place for SU.
Yes, this midfield is a three-headed monster, and last year and this year, they were touted as the best midfield unit in the country. I think they deserve that. When you think about how good he was playing, he was a former midfielder on the second line, so they had the depth at midfield prior to him moving to attack. This attack now has Siebold, has Rafis, has Owen Hiltz, who's playing at the top of his game now. If you get a guy, a young freshman playing that well, a guy who's willing to dodge and make the small plays, and then you have a superstar, number 29, this team could be dangerous if they get the right path in the NCAA tournament. I have a feeling that they're going to be a team that, record at 6-5, they won't be overlooked.
Played a tough schedule, too, albeit their only 2 wins in the ACC have come against Virginia.
Those are also quality wins. Virginia's a good team. They have a quality resume. They've played really tough games. They've beat good teams. Those 2 wins are going to be real valuable when it comes to Sunday selection show, choosing where this Syracuse team is going to play if they hold on to this lead in the fourth quarter.
Pass out of bounds and a turnover by Robert Morris. Selection show on Sunday night, featuring both the men's and women's teams to see their NCAA tournament seeding. The Orange have a pretty good case for the tournament based on the fact of that all ACC teams, all 5 of them, are ranked in the top 10. It's the gauntlet every year, but especially this season with the Ivy League not playing and with some other traditional powerhouses, although I should say Johns Hopkins did just grab an impressive win, but it's definitely a year where you have to recognize how good the ACC has been. As Hiltz's shot's deflected, but right to the stick of Curry.
Hey, tight to him, Elliot. Great. Tight to him, Elliot. Great. Eagle, go!
Have already surpassed their season high in goals. They had 20 against Virginia back on February 27th. An impressive offensive performance today, and they've really spread the wealth too. Hiltz winds up, misses just to the right. Owen Hiltz a bit slow on the far side as we have a stoppage, and Hiltz stumbles off towards the sideline. Not a sign you want to see if you're Syracuse in the waning moments of the fourth quarter, but Hiltz making it to the bench on his own power.
Feeling it after that shot, but I think the actual injury came from the shot he took prior to that when he was attacking the cage. He came up a little gimpy on that play, but he's had himself a great game. He deserves to sit down and take the helmet off, have a couple Gatorade.
Curry inside. That one hit the pipe. With a career-high 7 goals, along with 2 assists. Just a point shy of double figures. Rafis spins around. Shot was stopped by Savick. Under 7 to go here in the Dome. I'm Sam Oppenheim, and if you're looking for Jay Alter, well, I wish he was here too, but I'm alongside Miles Jones here for this game on an emergency backup, so to speak, as Syracuse and Robert Morris close out the regular season. 33 combined goals in this game. Offense has been there for both teams. Off the foot of Savick, but it rolls right to Trimboli. Curry walks slowly outside the box, and in this situation, it's a 9-goal lead. How much pressure do you apply, Miles, if you're Robert Morris?
Yes, just under 6 minutes left in your season. If you guys lose the game, you go home, and there's no more season. I say you put pressure on Syracuse from this moment out. Give it everything you got going into the end of this fourth quarter. Anything can happen. Although you're down by 9, you play with a sense of pride. If you're a young guy, you play for those guys like Ryan Smith, guys who are going to be leaving the program and you're never going to put on a Robert Morris uniform anymore. The effort you guys show in the last 5.5 minutes of this game is a testament to how much you value those seniors who are moving on from the program.
Save. Savick on the Rafis shot. Robert Morris back the other way. Perkins had his shot tipped out of bounds, and the backup by the Colonials. Wilson Keeley. Well, coming up next after this game as Johansson scores a goal. Not so fast as Will Johansson with the tally. And it's 21-13.
Johansson with a strong, hard dodge, protects his stick well, shoots that twister around the goalie without stepping in the crease. Fighting to the very last moment, his team down 8.
With the lead on Robert Morris, now it's time for our New York Life Player Spotlight. Miles, this one far from surprising. Owen Hiltz.
And well-deserved. He filled up the net today in different fashion. Shooting from the outside, creating for himself, understanding the pressure, crashing the boards. He's done it all. This kid's a very special talent, and I'm glad to see him showing that today in a big game that Syracuse needed to win.
His previous career high was 4, which he did 2 times so far in his freshman season, but he's bested that with 7 goals today. Just a reminder, Notre Dame is playing Florida State in baseball. That's right now on the ACC Network Extra. That's coming up after our game finishes from the Dome in Syracuse. Sam Oppenheim with Miles Jones. There's a turnover right there by the Colonials. Next pass tipped and right to Perkins. Perkins. Now to Smith. And he shoots and scores. Oh my goodness. What a goal by Ryan Smith. He's dazzled in possibly his final collegiate game.
As long as there's time on the clock, Ryan Smith is going to keep playing. I thought his goal in the second quarter was impressive. This one is even more and tops that one. Can't see, 3 guys draped on him, steps back, puts that ball in the net.
Shall I say a lax top 5 play possibly? My goodness.
I think he deserves it.
A special play indeed.
violation ruled against the Orange on the faceoff. Their first faceoff violation of the second half.
Syracuse loses the face-off, and John Desco company still on their way to a pretty sizable win in what you kind of called a tune-up before the NCAA tournament. This Syracuse team has faced many ups and downs, both on the field and off the field. Where do you see them ranking in terms of the tournament, and from there, how they fare against some of these other teams we expect to make it come Selection Sunday?
Well, with the AQ not being in the ACC because of the tournament setup, I think that Syracuse with this win has a resume good enough to make them an at-large team. They're going to be a team that's going to have to go on the road and play a game in order to and win a game in order to make it to the next round. But I think they're battle-tested. I think where they need to step up is on the defensive end. They got some guys banged up. They got some new guys getting inserted into the lineup there. A couple D middies that didn't get much experience earlier in the season, now having to step up and play. They have some guys coming back from injury. There are a lot of things going on for this Syracuse team. If they're able to focus up, get a big win on the road, they'll see themselves playing a team that is a national championship caliber team. They have to then, strap it up in a big game and win that game in order to see themselves where they are capable of making it to in this tournament.
Timeout for the Orange with 2.5 to go in this game and a 7-goal lead for Syracuse. Selection Sunday is coming up in a couple days, and the big thing is it's both men's and women's this year. It's going to be a must-see of how dominant they've been overall. North Carolina men's team pretty dominant in their own right, too, after beating Duke to secure a share of that ACC title. And quite the battle in the Tar Heel State this season. Final 2.5 minutes to go in the Dome. Siebold all alone. And he pulls it back out and slows things down for Syracuse. As now the net is empty. Savick intercepts the pass. Impressive play by the netminder. Syracuse effective on the ride on this possession. Robert Morris clears. Final 90 seconds. Bouncer shot saved. That's Harrison Thompson in between the pipes. 10 saves as a team for Syracuse in this game. Well, the end is near of a up and down regular season for Syracuse. And we'll finish 7-5. 2-4 in the ACC. We've mentioned how competitive the conference has been. Robert Morris, in their own right, has had a really good season, too. Being an independent team, having to play so many games on the road. If you're Coach Andrew McMinn, you have to take a lot of consolation in that for this season. Ground ball goes out of bounds off of the Orange in the final 30 seconds of play. Extra feed down low, and a shot is saved by Thompson. Some playing time now for Harrison Thompson. As that shot sails high, Thompson from Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, the freshman keeper, taking the place of Porter. Smith's final shot misses and goes out of bounds. And that will do it. Syracuse closes the regular season with a 21-14 win over Robert Morris, and the Orange Miles have positioned themselves for a possible NCAA tournament bid.
Syracuse came to play today. It's a playoff mentality team. Despite distractions, they came ready to go. Coach Desko instilled in these guys that it had to be playoff mindset right now.